Thank you. 25 minutes before 8 o'clock, 53 degrees. Well, it's kind of rather cool this morning, huh?
Yeah.
Nobody's complaining about that, right? Nobody's complaining about the cool. We have on the phone State Representative Matt Gaetz. He's on the phone. I believe his dad is Don Gaetz, right?
I think so.
He wants to talk to us about the governor's debate the other night when the whole... most of the news is focusing on the fan issue, and so let's see what he has to say. Good morning, Representative Gaetz. Nice to speak to you. It's an honor. Thank you for being on our show.
Oh, thank you for having me. And I'm also under the impression that Don Gaetz is my father. So thank you for that reference. You know, that was a very bizarre debate by about any metric, and it was sort of typical Charlie Crist. You know, he's a guy who couldn't stick to any political party, can't stick to a position on the issues, and then couldn't stick to the debate rules that didn't allow him to have a fan. So despite that kind of odd interruption, I think he got to see two men present, you know, very different views for the future of Florida. And I'm certainly encouraged that Governor Scott has, you know, led the state in the creation of over 600,000 private sector jobs, you know, compared to Charlie Crist, under whom we lost 832,000 jobs. So I'm encouraged for the governor and think he did a great job.
Okay, and obviously you're pitching for the governor, and I have no problem with the governor, but I think he needs a little PR. I mean, just public relations. He said, "Oh, just go out. Who cares? The fan is there." Wasn't there? Let me ask you something. Wasn't there like a handwritten piece in the contract where Charlie Crist people said a fan will be allowed if it's necessary?
Yeah, the if necessary part is important there. The Crist campaign was notified that if the temperature in the debate hall was too warm, then a fan would be permitted. The problem there is that for the Crist campaign, at least, is that the temperature at the time of the debate was 67 degrees. I mean, who needs a fan at 67 degrees? The debate organizers told the Crist campaign that they would not be permitted to have a fan. They did it anyway, and it's sort of emblematic of how Charlie Crist is. It's kind of always about him and his needs and his ambitions, and not about the rules. And certainly as governor, it wasn't about the people of Florida, particularly the 832,000 of them who lost their jobs.
But now, honestly, why was the fan included in the contract in the first place? Why was it even prohibited?
Well, there's a general prohibition against electronic devices during a debate. Oftentimes, electronic devices can interfere with the sound. They can be a distraction, you know, and that's why there was that prohibition that the debate organizers put into the rules. Charlie Crist then wrote onto the contract that if the temperature was too warm, that he would like to use a fan. That seems reasonable. But what's so strange is that at 67 degrees, you know, the guy needed a fan. It's almost like some sort of weird crutch that he needs.
The bigger debate should have been, in the news anyway, should have been the fact that they didn't include any of the other people on the ballot. There are 5 people running for that office, and only 2 people had a debate. That didn't make any sense to me.
Well, that is, you know, typically the case. The organizers make those decisions just based on how folks are polling and whether or not they have a serious chance to serve as the governor. And I understand that at times that can become a self-fulfilling prophecy if those folks aren't given a platform to share their ideas. Well, one thing I'll say is that, you know, Governor Scott's ideas seem to be working very well for the state. You know, we've cut taxes over 40 times in Florida since Governor Scott's been in office. We have repealed or altered about 4,000 regulations to make the state more business-friendly.
Yeah.
And the result that, you know, we're the state that has had the second largest decrease in unemployment and on the welfare rolls and food stamp rolls.
I do think, you know, let me just tell you first, so I like Governor Scott. He used to call, when he first was elected, he would call us and say, hey, can I come on and say something about this, whatever's going on at the time. I think he became gun-shy. Maybe the press wasn't always as friendly to him as we were, and so he stopped calling. And then when I watch him having a microphone in his face and kind of rattling off something he's memorized rather than really answering the question, I think that's when a public relations person maybe should take him to the side and say, hey, I got an idea that might make you look a little bit better. And the same thing would be true in the fan case. If somebody was to say to me, you know, look, this is kind of nutty, but you're going to be the one who looks like the bad guy in this one. So go out and just do it, you know?
Yeah, and you know what was released by the organizers of that debate yesterday, and unfortunately it hasn't been really amplified by the media, is that Governor Scott was told to wait in his dressing room because they were still trying to sort out with Charlie Crist whether or not he was going to participate in the debate. And then all of a sudden, Governor Scott looks on the screen and sees Charlie Crist out there.
Oh, really?
And then rushes to the stage. And, that, again, that's not me sharing that information. That was what was the...
Oh, wow. See, we didn't know that part. It's crazy. So they were playing politics. They knew what they were doing.
Well, and if you compare the two men, Charlie Crist and Governor Scott, there's no doubt that Charlie Crist is the smoother politician. He just happens to have been a lousy governor.
We brought this up yesterday. We said that, and Robin and I have done. We've been panelists on local debates, and guys and ladies who are running for office that are actually very, very well equipped to hold whatever office they're running for will freeze, will change. They don't have the same persona when there's a camera and bright lights on them. So it's easy to see that. I think we both agreed, whether you like Crist or Scott, look at the track record of the two of them and then decide based on that. You don't have a track record for any of the third party candidates because none of them held office yet. But
well, and that's a unique opportunity. It's a unique opportunity. You got two men who've served as the governor of Florida for about the same period of time, and you can look at how the economy really suffered under Charlie Crist, and then how it has rebounded under Governor Scott. And it's, I think, a good comparison.
Yeah, well, you're doing a good job pitching for him. I just think that we need to look at their track record and make a decision based on that. And I also would encourage Mr. Scott, Governor Scott, seriously, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I wish I could do it for him. I wish I could say, hey, here's an idea here.
Right.
Here's an answer for the people with the microphones that are trying to trap you. Just say this. Don't. I think it looks bad for him. It's just my thought.
It does.
I don't know if you can pass it on to him or not. Are you guys friends?
Yeah. I've gotten to know the governor well, and I find him to be a very sincere, genuine person. I think that when you've got microphones in your face all day, and you're one of the most interviewed people in the United States, it takes a toll and would on anybody.
Yeah, and he was super nice to us in the beginning, and not that he's been unkind. Since then, he just doesn't return calls anymore.
No.
Well, I'll tell him he needs to call in and be on the show. You guys have been great.
Well, and thank you. And how's your dad doing? Are you running for his seat?
I am. I'm a candidate for the state senate up here in the Florida Panhandle, and have enjoyed serving with my father the last 7 years.
So is he retiring? Your dad retiring?
Yeah, it's a result of term limits. He's doing what the Constitution requires and going back to live under the laws that he helped write.
Got it. All right. Well, good for you, and thank you for being on the air with us today.
Thank you.
And we'll keep up. If you're ever in the area, come by the studio. We'd love to have you in here.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
Okay, that was good. All right, we will take a little break, and we'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. A pleasant day today with sunshine and low humidity, the high 80 to 84. And tonight will be clear and comfortable, lows ranging from the mid to upper 50s in a few inland spots to 62 along the coast. Plenty of sunshine tomorrow and pleasantly warm in the afternoon, the high 82 to 86. And for Sunday, pleasant with a full day of sunshine, the high 81 to 85. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. right here on The Source, WOCA. Don't miss Planning for a Better and Safer Retirement with your hosts, Francois Cousinet and Julianne Cousinet. They'll be giving